naked truthers. So, I hope all is well with you all. Let's dive into one of the main lessons that life has taught me in the past couple of years about love and relationships. I would say, looking back and reflecting on everything, a huge lesson for me was learning not to lose myself in relationships, lose myself in other people or the person that I was with. And when I look back on my past relationships, a lot of them was me conforming to who that person wanted me to be. It was me trying to fit the mold, fit the story that they had in their mind of who they saw me as, right? It was me trying to live up to the potential they saw in me. And the whole time, I was losing myself. It was me trying to be everything for them, me trying to be, all the many different roles or faces that they wanted me to do and wear for them. It was me trying to basically not disappoint, so I was being a people pleaser, right? And it was me trying to just do whatever I could to make sure their needs was met and neglecting my own needs. And what I realized is that I was wanting someone to love me so bad that I was willing to settle for everything and anything. I was willing to take the bullshit. I tolerated it, right? And I allowed myself to be taken for granted. I allowed myself to be walked all over. I allowed myself to be treated like shit because I was looking for love in all the wrong places and in all the wrong people. Right? I was hoping, wanting, needing for someone to love me, to feel loved, to feel wanted, to feel needed. That's what I was seeking for outside of me. Not realizing the whole time the void that really needed to be filled within me was that of self-love, that of loving myself, that of knowing my worth, right? And so I would get in these relationships where it was like, well, who are you? And it's like, I don't know. I'm whoever they want me to be. I'm whoever they need me to be. But I don't really know who I am. And, it's just like, wow. Because I remember being unhappy. I remember, the anxiety and just my soul fighting against me bending over backwards for these people that didn't deserve my time, energy, or my love. I mean, we all need love, but, it's like, choose wisely who you give your heart to. And I wasn't making those wise decisions at all. And so, the biggest lesson, the biggest takeaway is to never lose yourself in someone else. Never lose your identity in a relationship. Because these relationships that we get in, they do not define us, right? They do not tell you who you are. Learn to establish a stable foundation of self before getting into a relationship. Learn to establish that identity of who you are before you try to merge with someone else. And understand that you can be with someone and still be you. You don't have to lose yourself. You don't have to conform or be this mold of who they want you to be. And if they don't accept who you are, then maybe they're not the one for you. And that's just what it is. And it's just learning to let go of the need to be needed, right? And wanting to be wanted so bad that you basically take anything that's given to you. And understanding that I deserved more. I didn't see it then. I didn't know it then. I didn't even know what the fuck self-love was. Like, what is that? How do I love myself? What do you mean? Right? And these were my younger years, of course. But I kept finding myself in the same situations, just with different people. The lesson kept repeating, and I was not getting it. And so every time it would repeat, it would hit a little harder, more painful, until it finally clicked, right? And this even shows up in my astrology chart for those of you that are into, astrology and things like that. My North Node and my South Node. I'm literally here in this lifetime to learn to establish my own identity of self, to learn to not lose myself in relationships, to not take on my partner's identity or the version of who they want me to be. That's one of the reasons, that my soul came back into this lifetime, depending on what you believe in. I know we all have different beliefs. And it's just interesting because a lot of my relationships, that's what I was dealing with, And it took me having to find myself, find my voice, learning to love myself, learning to stand up for myself, and learning who I am, what I like, what I don't like, and just going from there and realizing, damn, all that shit I put up with, the hell was I thinking, right? And not so much to judge myself, but just to look back and smile at the growth, at how far I've come. When you get caught up so deeply in relationships and other people, and you no longer have a life of your own, it becomes how do I put it? It becomes, in a sense, chaotic. It can become toxic because it's like an obsessive nature of just trying to be perfect, trying to be exactly who and what they want you to be. And if you don't love yourself, if you have that hole that you're wanting to be filled, it can become addictive. That person can become addictive because they become like a human drug. And every time they love you, you fall more in love with what you think is love, but it's really just a deep attachment, right? And that attachment grows and it grows and it grows. And it's like every time they love you, you pop a pill and now you're high off their quote-unquote love. But every time they take it away, every time they give you the cold shoulder, every time they ignore you, give you the silent treatment, or y'all are arguing and shit hits the fan, now you're down and you're out, you're feeling sad, you're feeling depressed. It's like, oh my God, what did I do? And what can I do to make this better, right? You try to, like I said, bend over backwards to smooth things over, and you're over here apologizing for some shit that you didn't even do. And it feels like your whole world is crashing down because that's how attached you are. And it's like your worth, your happiness, everything is dependent upon this one person, this one relationship. And no one should have that much fucking power over you in your life, ever. And so, for me, throughout my life, I've had to learn these things, I've dealt with these things, and it's like, man, it can become super intense. I've been in a place to where, it was like this man was like a human drug for me. I've been in a place to where it was like, okay, I'm putting my needs last, not even entertaining my own damn needs, but just busting my ass to be everything that I thought they wanted me to be. making sure that I'm doing everything quote unquote right so they don't leave me, right? It's like abandonment issues, not wanting to be left, or being fearful that you will be left, right? And that can go many different ways when it comes to abandonment issues. But it's just like, wow. Just the energy, like I said, of looking back and reflecting, and then just processing, like, okay, what it is that I may have experienced in the past that made me deal with these things or become, this kind of person, or tolerate this shit. And shit gets real. So that's one thing I'll have to say, that I'm grateful for the lesson. And it hurt. It definitely hurt when I finally got it. My heart was shattered. But I finally figured it out. I had got to a point where I thought, like, oh yeah, I'm finally loving myself, self-love, but I still wasn't, because I was still settling for breadcrumbs, and still settling for just pieces of people, instead of demanding, or not even demanding, I don't want to say demanding, but instead of understanding that I deserved all of someone, right? I deserved for them to show up 100% authentically them, instead of giving me 5%, right? So it was just an understanding, and it's like you get to a place and you're like, oh yeah, I'm healed, I overcame this, and then life comes and tests you again, or it gives you this situation or this experience to see if you are truly healed. And that's when shit gets real. Just remember that you had a life before this person crossed your path. Before you got into a relationship with them, you had a life. Don't stop living. Don't stop being who you were before you met them. Don't lose sight of who you are just to attempt to get close to someone or keep someone in your life. Don't get so caught up in the attachment that you disconnect from you. And understand, like I said, that relationship or that person does not define you unless you give them permission to. Only you can define you. Keep that in mind. And understand that you will always come back to self when you need to. And don't put yourself on hold to try and fit into someone else's world where you don't even belong in the first place. Think about that. Because a lot of times we put ours on hold, we put our dreams on hold, and we attempt to help that person follow or pursue their dreams. I was doing that a lot, instead of focusing on me and my dreams and what I desired, I would put it all on the back burner, and I would be like, all right, how can I help this person accomplish their dreams? What do they need me to do? Who do I need to be, to help them get where they want to be in life? Not even pursuing my own shit. It's crazy, right? Showing up for everybody else and leaving myself hanging, not showing up for me. It's wild. So I just wanted to share this lesson because it's been huge for me, and it makes all the difference too in the relationships, the people, the connections, the bonds that you attract and create. You know, when you stand firm in your identity and when you know who you are, when you have that solid foundation of self-love, the type of energy that you attract to you or even allow yourself to mingle with definitely shifts. It has shifted for me. It really has, in such a positive way. So I'm forever grateful for that, you know. So remember, don't lose yourself. Don't pretend to be somebody else. You know, it's easy to get caught up in playing a character that you're truly not. And now you find yourself in the middle of a movie that you need to escape from. So, just allow yourself to discover the true you. And don't allow anyone to change that. You know, give yourself grace and compassion, patience and understanding to go through the many different phases and stages of you. Right? And always be grateful when you look back and see how far you've come. But don't ever allow anyone to attempt to define you. And understand that no one, absolutely fucking no one, is more important than the relationship that you have with yourself. When it comes to dating, when it comes to love, I don't care if y'all fuck buddies, whatever it is, that relationship with yourself comes first. That is the most important relationship. It is the most important relationship. It is the relationship that you will have for the longest forever. So cultivate that relationship with yourself first, right? And then when you all good on yourself, when you don't love on yourself, then allow yourself to express that and mingle with others. All right? Y'all be good out there, okay? Don't be out here losing yourselves. Don't be out here, being someone you're not. Okay? Don't be out here getting lost in the sauce. All right, I'm done, y'all. Have a good night. Much love. Peace.